haven't you? Investors, they're kind of still on their holidays, are they?
Yeah, this should be the last week of lighter trading on the markets as the summer season draws to a close, but no trading in London today on the FTSE 100. It's closed because of a public holiday. That's having an impact on the rest of the European markets too. The CAC 40 in Paris, as you can see, opening flat there. Madrid's IBEX in the red. Now, the Asian market's a good start to the week too. The Nikkei only slightly turned into the red there, as you can see. Shanghai Composite leading the gains after the head of China's Statistics Service said that it's confident the government can meet its growth target of 7.5% this year. Now, after last week's glitches on the stock exchanges in New York and in Shanghai, look at what happened to Israel's largest investment company. The Israel Corporation, in trading on Sunday, had a massive spike in its share price after a spike in the wrong direction, it has to be said. As trading opened, you can see there the share price fell 99.98%. In the middle of trading. That was because of a trader's typing error, we're told, being blamed for the glitch. Perhaps he meant to only buy 100 instead of 1,000 or similar. The transaction was cancelled and the share price returned to normal, as you can see. But only the latest in these series of technical glitches.
Not just an error from our graphics department, then. We never have those, of course. Back to France now. The Prime Minister has laid out plans for bigger than expected budget cuts, hasn't he?
Jean-Marc Ayrault told French television that the budget is going to they're going to have to shave 10 billion euros off the budget next year. That's more than the 9 billion they had announced in July. This is as the government begins the controversial process of reforming France's pension system. Back in 2008, the last time this was tried, it caused massive protests, week or months-long strikes. The Prime Minister will starting those discussions with unions and social partners later. They'll be trying to come up with a formula which will cost the country less. But at the same time, the European Commission is warning that France shouldn't increase taxes to hurt the economy, although the government says they're going to have to.
We are going to raise taxes to reduce the deficit, but also to make French people's lives better. And when it comes to savings, in 2014, the French government will make 10 billion euros worth of cuts.
Now, the warnings from the EU and the IMF that these tax increases will hit economic growth because people will have less money to spend. One traditionally very lucrative time for some businesses is the traditional summer season, drawing to a close here in France. But hotels and restaurants say it's been a disappointing year for them as people are spending less time on holidays and, more importantly, spending less money. Julia Seeger has the story.
Sun, sea, but too many deck chairs empty, and hotels with rooms unbooked.
It's been a difficult season this year, partly because of the economic crisis, but also we don't always understand why people don't leave at that particular time.
From July 1st to August 20th alone, the number of French tourists holidaying in France dropped by 3.8% compared to last summer. With less money to spend, French holidaymakers have changed their habits. Many now choose to leave for less than a week, or even sometimes for one-day excursions. People are looking for a way to cut costs.
I left this year because a friend lent me an apartment.
The entire tourism industry has been hit. Restaurants and bars are suffering too.
June was really bad because of the horrible weather. July wasn't so good. There weren't many tourists, and August was a little bit better, but people are really watching what they spend.
Away from the expensive Riviera this year, French people have favored cheaper destinations.
More than a third of French people have picked cheaper places and have changed their habits. In August, many went to the mountains because there were a lot of good value packages.
Big cities like Paris, Bordeaux or Marseille, on the other hand, have bucked the trend thanks to steady numbers of foreign visitors.
Let's take a look now at some of the day's other business stories. And India's state-owned gas company has paid $2.64 billion for a stake in the offshore field in Mozambique. The sale is a sign of greater possible gas discoveries in the African country's waters. India's Oil and Natural Gas Corporation said the field, known as Area 1, had the potential to become one of the world's largest natural gas projects.
The world's top biotechnology company, Amgen, has agreed to buy its rival Onyx Pharmaceuticals for $10.4 billion. It's Amgen's second bid for Onyx, which is a specialist, in fact, in cancer drugs. It'll fund the purchase with $8 billion in loans and $2 billion from its cash reserves.
And the Chinese oil giant Sinopec says its profits jumped by 24% in the first half of the year. The company earned almost $5 billion in the 6 months to June. Boost is down to fuel price reforms introduced by the Chinese government in March.
Now, I'm sure that at some point in your life you have quit a job, you have left, you've had enough, you've gone. But the question is, were you missed? Because investors actually seemed quite pleased when Steve Ballmer announced that he was resigning from Microsoft.
Yeah, not the greatest boost to his ego, I'd imagine. Look at what happened to Microsoft's share price when the announcement was made. It rocketed up over 7% in trading on Friday. Perhaps not what Steve Ballmer wanted to hear from a nostalgic point of view, but he certainly will be pleased with the figures behind it. He has 333 million Microsoft shares, it's estimated, and the increase in value has made him about $500 million richer. He's not the only one to benefit from it, though. The Microsoft founder, Bill Gates, his share is also now worth about $700 million more.
I asked this before, I'll ask it again. Can he quit twice?
I hope so.
I bet he's hoping he could, or wishing he could anyway. Stephen, thanks a lot. Stephen with business here on France 24. I'll be back tomorrow, in fact. Now, though, it's time for the international papers.